Great. So here we are. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And I'm going to try to keep it politically correct because. So here we are. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And I'm going to try to keep it politically correct because. So here we are. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And I'm going to try to keep it politically correct because. There's some shadow banning once again, unfortunately. And this is going to be about psychosis and twin flames. I didn't change the title. I apologize. Psychosis and twin flames, and how the New Age community is really interesting to me. I have also, before I start, I'm going to talk about. Well, let me wait until we have at least 9 people. Let me do that. Let me not just jump in. But let me say that there's this weird idea that New Age is, the word New Age is aligned with a lot of toxic shit, okay? So we need to reclaim our ancient wisdoms and call it ancient wisdoms. And I think that's what we need to do collectively. We need to start changing the term so that there's a massive separation between, and I'm not going to be political, woke and awakened. Those are 2 different concepts. Similarly, New Age and ancient wisdom are completely different concepts of consciousness, okay? Let's just start out with that. To have these conversations, one of the things I just posted, you might know him. I forgot his name, but he's got a big beard. He looks like a fucking Viking. Amazing divine masculine who talks about how being politically correct, guarding our words, being trained to say grape and unalive, fucked up words like that about very serious things is harming us physically. My throat chakra is actually rebelling because I know I'm about to say some heavy shit and I'm about to have to say it in a censored way, which already I'm being triggered in my throat chakra. So I'm sorry if you hear me, it's clearing my throat. The reality is that we should be able, free speech is also free expression, okay? But anyway, with that said, let me settle down. Let me have you share the live with people, and let's talk about twin flames and why people think it doesn't exist, okay? Yeah, there's my foot. Hello. Anyway, let's wait. And if you guys can share the live, that'd be, hi, Mia. It's good to see you. Thank you for being there. If you could share the live, I need 9 people. That's always the number I ask for. And then we're going to talk about, Jesus. I'll have to cut that out of in the edits. Yeah, let's do this. I'm asking, let me see here. If you could be so kind as to share this with as many people as you can and go from there. All right? Because I really don't want to, because some of the stuff I'm about to lay down is important. Now, one of the premise that is very true is that dark energies have gone into the New Age community. Now, you don't have to be a psychic to figure that one out. It's just very simple to see. When you have content creators who have 100,000 followers who are talking shit about each other, which, on some of the most private things. Like there was one that was going back and forth, and I'm not going to mention names because I'm not here to start that shit again. But it was a content creator in the spiritual community, New Age community, with another content creator, a masculine. She was saying that he was her twin flame, and he was coming in her dreams, and he was doing this and that, and he had to go public. Then she had to go public, and it was shit like that. You keep that shit private to yourself, okay? I think the only time a person should come out against another person is when they harm people, okay? When they're full of shit, harming people. And at that point, yes. But if something is happening to you personally, I'm a big believer on that level, okay? On that level of what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, personally sharing your experiences of trauma or psychosis or second guessing yourself. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're having that kind of dirty laundry, you should probably keep it to yourself, because all you're doing is creating a battlefield that is egoically based and has nothing to do with helping the collective. Nothing, fucking nothing. If anything, it's promoting the psychosis that, by the way, is known in the twin flame community, in the New Age community. Okay. Now, I studied Michael Newton's techniques on hypnotherapy. I've read his books many, many times. Destiny, Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls. Many, many times. And the argument that a lot of people are making, which I think is ironic, is that he never mentions twin flames. Now, please understand this. And I lived where he lived. He lived in Grass Valley, California, which is a one-horse town. It's extremely racist. This is known. Okay, I'm not making this shit up. Northern California is known for a lot of white supremacist groups. Just saying that on the side note. And because it's very racist, he didn't have a lot of pool of clients. Okay, he traveled here and there, but I never, in all my time of reading his books, did I ever see him say, I went to Japan, I went to Europe, I went here, I went there. No, for the most part, people were coming to him in Grass Valley. That means people who had money, lots of it. Okay, so I respect the work he has done. Don't get me wrong. This is not about talking shit about Michael Newton, because what he's done is fantastic. However, one of the things I also noticed is that he was not having a pool of African Americans. He didn't have a pool of Native Americans. He didn't have a pool of Hindustani people. He didn't have do you get me? He did have a pool of a couple people who were from Asiatic background, but it was a small pool of people. Okay? And yes, that fucking matters. Because those cultural foundations, when people come to you with those cultural beliefs or foundations or identity, that the temporary identity, call I'm African American, I'm Irish, I'm Italian American, all that shit, it's temporary fucking identity of a racial lineage, right? For example, that is important in the way they're going to express themselves, okay? And see their journey. Okay, in past lives. So most of the things that he was talking about, as you guys know, is LBL, lives between lives. But 30% of his, and he said it himself, 30% of his clients were seeing past lives on other planets. 80% of my clients are seeing past lives in other planets. 80. Not because I'm a better hypnotist. It has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with the age of our time. When he died, it was 2016. If you are a spiritualist as I am, this is my métier. This is ma raison d'être. It's the reason I live, to do this kind of work. Many of you started waking up in 2017. You see what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from, right? So this acceptance and this surrender to seeing a past life on another planet is not only magnificent, but massively important to the great awakening of the collective. That's number one. So for people to say, well, he's never seen twin flames in his readings, I don't see them either when we're going into to massive importance of twin flame, of starseed recollection. It's not what's important. And this is what you guys need to know if you're in a twin flame journey. It isn't important to the level you think. The twin flame journey is like a Moldavite crystal waking the fuck you up. Okay? It's here to fuck you up, to wake you up. To wake you up, to fuck you up, to wake you up again. Because you're going to result, because of the background of your racial lineage, religious background, cultural background, language, you're going to want to gaslight yourself and run back to your cave. Plato's parable of the cave, right? I don't want to see this. I don't want to know this. And it's based on certain beginnings. This is a real concern, my friends. This is not woohoo shit. So the issue of not seeing a twin flame, he didn't have a pool. And I remember thinking that to myself in 2020 when I was reading, listening to his books on Audible. I have them again and again and again. That's what I do. When I read a book that has me going, I'll read it 5-10 times. I'm obsessive that way. But then again, I want to know every nuance, I'm overturning every rock because there's stuff you'll miss. Okay, with that said. So it did occur to me way back when I was reading his books, wait, hang on, I'm not seeing him doing these hypnotherapy sessions with a nice pool of diversity. Okay? I've had transgenders. I've had gay women and men. I've had straight women and men who fell in love with the not the opposite gender of their twin, same gender, and it blew their mind. I've had many experiences with a different diverse pool of people. So my point of view is maybe more, they're saying to say galactical, huge. Now you have to understand that he was an atheist in the beginning, and he was a grown-ass man when he started doing this work as a hypnotherapist with a PhD and working on why are you fat, why are you smoking, why are you this, why are you that, right? And then he fell into LBL, lives between lives, and hypnotherapy. And that's when he had to believe in incarnation and the soul returning. I mean, that's what happened, okay? Many people like me, we were born remembering. In fact, I remember choosing my parents. Okay, so that puts a different framework. So when somebody's argument about the twin flame reality is, well, Michael Newton never mentioned it in his books, the response, yeah, his books are brilliant. Yeah, his books are brilliant, but think, where was he living? What was he doing? This is not to denigrate his work. I love him. When I had to choose between Dolores Cannon's quantum healing and his Newton system, I chose him, just so you know, okay? Because I felt like he was going way farther into realms, and he was like he was opening doors that were way different than what Dolores Cannon had. And again, I respect them both, okay? But I felt more aligned to the way his approach was. But don't forget, okay, he picked also certain things for his book. And why would he know twin flames? He didn't even know fucking reincarnation until probably he was in his deep 40s. Hello? So you've got to understand that doesn't fucking make it, it doesn't make it true. That one person who was able to overcome his atheism, okay, into opening himself up to new realms of consciousness and realities like realities on different planets, for example, and also the premise of why some people were not incarnating for like 400 or 500 years, which he mentions in his book. There's a lot of things he mentions in his book. Dr. Joe Dispenza doesn't go into the twin flame conversation, but fucking Plato did, and we all know that. So now what? Now what's your argument? Now, the concept of psychosis is important because I didn't know this. Now, I'm not throwing her under the bus because I really love her, and I'm not going to actually mention her name. She's Scottish, it sounds like. And she's talking about how twin flames is a new age thing. Now, one of the things she said that was very interesting to me is she said that the new age community doesn't believe in dark energy. I almost fucking fell off my chair. Because you see, I didn't know that. Why? Because I've been around dark energies. In other words, I've been hit by dark energy. Oh, for Christ's sakes, one of my past lives as a high priestess, one of the reasons why I was afraid of using my power was that I was a high priestess doing some pretty fucking fucked up SACRFIC, whatever the fuck. In other words, I did some pretty fucked up shit using power. In a very evil way, okay? And that was one of my lives. In one of the, it felt like the Celtic Isles, meaning, probably Ireland, honestly. So, and this was done all over the world, by the way. But it scared, I wondered why I was afraid of being powerful, because I had used power in an evil way. So when she said that the New Age community doesn't believe in and I'm going to have to bow to you guys to tell me, is that true? Does the New Age community actually not believe in dark forces? Because you see, that's insane, because many of you are being attacked. Okay? Many of you are being attacked by dark forces, especially as you go into the light. And the Doreen Virtue's story, thank you, Andromeda. It's because of you that I'm doing this. Many of you need to understand that the twin flame, it is rare. She's correct. It's fucking rare. That's right. But some of us are attracting twin flames. Now, I'm not saying I'm the expert of twin. Well, I am saying that. But I'd say that a small pool of people are twin flames. And that's ironically some of the women that have come to me to ask if this is a twin flame connection. Okay, many of them have become my dear friends. Okay, without this what I do I wouldn't have met this beautiful tribe of high priestesses in their own right, and many of them are healers, by the way, and many of them of course have a twin flame, but what's interesting is they're transcendental already, meaning they understand that the twin flame is not the end all be all. For some that this is a reality, for some it is not. For some they've chosen their high level soulmate to walk this planet in this incarnation. They've chosen it purposely. But they realize that their twin is giving them X, Y, and Z in awakenings, in self-awareness, in deeper excavation of the soul. Okay, that's number one. So the concept of New Age, I used to, when I was a kid, reading books on Tibetan monks, and again, I bow down to Shirley MacLaine. Poor woman has been muzzled by the you guys don't even fucking know it, but if you really want to see how dangerous it was to be a New Ager, meaning a person that spoke of other things that were otherworldly, you should just look up, Google Shirley MacLaine being interviewed for her book Out on a Limb and see how they treat her. And this is 1984, 85, thereabouts, is when I read the books, okay? When I read her book, Out on a Limb. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, okay? This was not an idiot. And she never mentions twin flames, but in the book, it feels like it's a twin flame connection. Okay? It feels like, but I could be wrong. But the concept of twin flames is not something New Age. It wasn't invented by New Agers. It was first revealed by Plato. And it's interesting, but you have to understand, because even then there were arranged marriages. People married for prosperity, for land, for title. You know it. Have you ever read Shakespeare? Have you ever watched the movie Shakespeare in Love? Shakespeare in Love, right? So obviously she's got money and she's marrying a poor titled lord, okay? So it's a contract. So that was the norm. And we have to understand that my grandmother was the last person on my French side. I don't know anyone in my American side, in case you ever ask. On my French side, she was in an arranged marriage with my grandfather. Okay, it was the last arranged marriage in our lineage. Does that make sense? Okay, but this shit still is happening today. So the concept of romantic love, the kind of what we talk about, which the troubadours invented in France in the Middle Ages, almost, I think it was in the Dark Ages, and then, it spilled over, was something that was entertainment. But it also was expressing what people were feeling for each other. And in the ancient world, there were people going, fuck my rules, fuck my family, and they would run off and marry with this significant other, with their beloved, okay? And they would do that. So it wasn't always the case that people went by the rules of the collective, It wasn't like that. But let me go back to this concept that twin flames is a New Age invention, which is really actually a toxic understanding and acceptance in the New Age community. This is why I'm making sure that I'm putting massive distance between New Age and ancient wisdom. I'm fucking done with that term. That term has shown me how the Buddha bun guys that are using polyamory as a way to get 3 chicks in bed and telling all these 3 chicks that, while you're jealous, deal with your shit. I've seen just toxic shit happen with women, like, no offense, Doreen Virtue, milking the fucking system, pulling out angel fucking cards and books all day long. I'm not kidding. She actually admitted to it in one of her interviews, that she could do whatever she wanted with Hay House, which is a Hay publication, which is Louise Hay had formed this incredible publishing, New Age, I'm going to call it New Age publishing house, and she could fucking put out anything she wanted. Then she went to Jesus, not Yeshua, to Jesus, okay? Because she got scared. Well, why? Because she was taking, I'm going to be blunt, because she was taking advantage of her popularity. I'm going to be straight up with you. Okay? You don't just fucking spit out shit every month. I'm a writer, I'm an author, and I'm a creator. And I can tell you that to write a book, to write something, takes fucking time. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of meditation, it takes a lot of internal dialogue, it takes a lot of, again, going back into meditation, seeking advice from your guides. It's not something you just, pull out of your ass every month. It doesn't work that way. So she was taking advantage of this shit, and she was making money in Hawaii and doing her thing. And I think that it just backlashed, because there is a boomerang in spirituality where if you do things for the collective, you will be anointed. Your path will open up. If you're doing things to just rack up some fucking coins, yeah, that shit's gonna hit you. So in a way, I feel like, why do you go from trying to help the collective, and then I'm gonna say, and then you become greedy about it, and then suddenly now you're running back to Jesus, not Yeshua, Jesus. Why would that happen? Well, I'm sure there was some psychosis, because I remember watching her, following her, and she was dyeing her hair blonde and then red, and then she had a breakup in one of her seminars, her retreats, and then she had another man and another man and another man. Okay, I'm just saying. So there is a problem with that. There's a problem because she was probably dealing with a lot of emotional baggages. But I think that what we have to respect and honor is that she did write some really good things, like the concept of indigo children and the crystal children and so forth, and putting terms to behaviors on some of these souls being born, like indigo kids, right? For example, that was an important, for many indigos out there, this was an important revelation for them to realize, wait, I'm not crazy to be a rebel. To fucking shake off these shackles, to question every fucking thing, right? I'm an indigo. Well, that explains it. So that was important, okay? And she was one of the first ones. So again, you can give credit to people who have done good things and then somehow they fell off the cliff, okay? I'm just going to say it. Spirituality and the process of spirituality is not something you do and then at 62 you decide to stop. It's not how to, you're constantly working, you're constantly learning, you're constantly making sure that you keep yourself humble. You do not feed your ego ever, you feed your soul. Remember the story of the two wolves, the white wolf and the black wolf? Yeah, feed the white wolf, for the lack of a better choice. Feed the white wolf, that's your soul. The black wolf is the ego. And I am having problems with my throat chakra because I'm trying to say a lot of things very quickly, also succinctly, and also editing myself, which a video I posted about how we are so concerned with being politically correct and using the word grape for something very, very fucking serious, and using the word unaliven themselves for something very, very serious. This is bullshit. These words were put and written, and they have a very knee-jerk power for a good fucking reason. Why are we saying Geno instead of the actual word? Why are we calling people in code words? What the fuck is going on? And this young Nordic Viking looking dude, beard, you'll see him if you look at what I've reposted, is saying it's actually unhealthy. It makes you sick. You fucking ain't right, it's going to make you sick. Because instead of externalizing your passion and your power, no offense to many of you Americans, but many of you are afraid of passion. Go to Italy. It will freak you the fuck out. You'll see people fighting and then they're fucking clapping and laughing. It has nothing to do with it. Passion is passion. Don't confuse passion with anger. So this concept of New Age, yeah, we might want to fucking put that in the trash with the rest of the trash and really call this ancient wisdom and call it a day with that and just call it that. Ancient wisdom where there's discernment, where there's dark energies that attack us. Yes, this is all real. This is all true. Okay, so I'm going to tell you an Akashic, a hypnotherapy session that I did yesterday. I know she won't mind, not to mention you won't know who she is. One of her past lives, she was on a planet. She had dark skin, beautiful brown, glimmering skin, and dreads. So there were a race of people with dreadlocks, and there was all these fruit, and they lived in huts and makeshift beds, and they had a good life. I said, well, how does it feel living like that? Joy. What else? Freedom. Why? Because the infrastructure that we recognize here as toxic wasn't on that planet. And then I asked her, well, what happens next? And they're having a life, they're eating mangoes, and believe it or not, mangoes is the word we're using now, so you recognize that it's similar to what they had there, okay? So they are a race of people that are plant-based eaters. And then suddenly out of the blue, now I had done an Akashic reading with her, and her spirit animal is a tiger, a white Bengal tiger. Boom, there's tigers. I go, do they eat flesh? She went, no. They eat what we eat. I went, that's interesting. And so how does it feel just living like she is just So unbelievable. I'm just so happy. I'm just so free. What instruments do you use? Flutes made out of wood and drums. Okay. And then suddenly dark energies come and the sky turns red. They're being attacked. And for the first time she feels fear. No kidding, right? Fear erupts out of her. I asked her, what dimension would you think you are? She said, I think it's more like 5, 6D. I went, okay. And so suddenly there's an attack of dark energies coming in. And I said, what is going on? She says, we can't see them, but they're destroying our planet. They're destroying us. I said, why? And she said, because they want our energy. And I go, are these the same people? Are they the same energies that are doing this here? She said, yes. Yes. I said, so why are you here? She said, to bring love to the planet, to heal the planet, to talk about these things. Good. Now, this is a woman that was very uncomfortable with her power because throughout her childhood, she was not used to being seen. She was more like the child, be seen and not heard. Nothing you say matter. And this continued, this habit of disrespecting this child continued into her teenage years, her 20s, and her adult life. It made her loathe herself, not trust herself. This is why I say to many of you, don't fucking baby talk your babies. Don't do that. This is a massive ancient soul in a fucking baby body because it chose to be diapered and go through all the fucking nuances of growing up, okay? It wants that. Okay, good. But that doesn't mean you baby talk it and you down talk it. You talk it like an adult. That's what I did with my son my entire life as a mother. I spoke to him in full fucking sentences, not goo goo gaga. I didn't do that. So just always remember that, because what it did to her was actually install a blueprint that fucked her up for a long time. It harmed her, okay? So if you want your kids to be better than you, then you better do that. Talk to them like they're grown-ups. I used to read to my baby. He was a baby. Khalil Gibran. Yes, sure, I did Goodnight Moon and all these books. I mean, I wasn't a horrible mother like that. I mean, there was fairy tales and all of that, of course. But I would throw in Khalil Gibran or esoteric poetry and conversations. Okay? And him connecting to nature and really, really having a love of nature. Okay? So we need to understand that as our children and grandchildren are coming in as in full, in powerful numbers. So when people say, let me go back because I went on a tangent. When people say that Michael Newton never mentioned twin flames, thus that must be the fucking truth, right? I just want to say, Michael Newton is one of many, okay? And many of us who are in a twin journey, we know who we are and we know the signs. Now, this Scottish girl was saying that she saw signs, but see, she didn't express what were those signs. And she said that there were, reptilian spirits coming after her. Okay, good. That's probably possible. It probably is possible because she's expressing it and calling it psychosis, which I do see that in people. I have had people come into me and say, it's my twin. And I'm like, no, it's actually not your twin. Actually, the person that you're leaving for this person who's toxic as fuck is actually your high-level soulmate. You're actually leaving the person who loves you for somebody who's harmful to you. And it's not your twin at all. You see? And so, yeah, there are people I've seen that are absolutely unhinged. I get it. And so I agree with her. But one of the things that you have to understand about when people tell you half stories, which obviously when you're doing these contents, these little videos, you have like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So you can't tell your whole story. And it's unfair to judge someone's entire belief system on a 3-minute video. It's fucked up. People do it to me all the time. But I will say that she did not talk about what were the signs, you see, because there's signs and then there's things that were put into place before you were born. Now I'm going to bring it up again. Like, for example, I was born on May 18th, 518. My twin's area code is 518. The numerology of my numbers are all his numbers as well. That's not signs I got shown. These were signs put in place before I was fucking born. Before he was fucking born. Does that make sense? So those are signs, but they're irrefutable signs. Meaning they were there before we were both born. And then we were born into these numbers that eventually when we got our shit together with understanding numbers, I mean, just normal shit. We had to see it. For example, for a time, I was living in El Centro, and he was on Central Avenue. He even said it to me, going, I can't believe this. You can't make this shit up. But that could be a reptilian plant, okay? Well, we're going to move her to El Centro, and he's going to be in Central Avenue, and they're going to talk about it. Okay, I'll devil's advocacy. Okay, that could be. But in terms of the actual dates, the actual 518, the actual numbers we share through my birthday, through the day he was born, things of that nature, through my name that connects to his life path number, all that shit. Yeah, that's not something planted by reptilians. Just saying. And that's what you have to discern. But ultimately, at the end of the day, and this is very important to understand, if you are half of your twin, right? If you are a soul in another body having a human experience, and your twin is having a human experience in another body, right? And you can't live without them, okay? That's a problem. That's where the reptilians can actually take you over, because at that point now, you are nothing without them. How many twins have I spoken to who have said, I can't be in my mission without them. I cannot continue my mission without them. When I'm with my twin, my mission will be stronger. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Maybe that's why he had to pass away, so that I could speak to you from a place of actual experience, so that I can be a living example of someone who is doing their mission without him in my life. I mean, if you don't get that, I don't know. Because yes, he's there. He walks beside me, but he's not there. I don't smell him. I don't hear his voice anymore. I don't have the nectar of his touch. I don't have the sexual connection with him. None of that is there. It's no longer there. Am I supposed to stop my mission? Or is my mission even more powerful because of his physical absence? You guys better grow up and get strong. Because if you need your twin to that level where you can't breathe without your twin, then yes, the reptilians have you. That girl's right. She's absolutely right. And it will plummet you into psychosis. Yes, santé, bravo. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. Because now you're vulnerable to these entities coming and fucking with your head. Or you don't even want to be here anymore, if you get my drift. Does that make sense? So you need to grow up. You are your twin, meaning you are a twin having a human experience in a separate body. Have it. For fuck's sake, have your human experience. That doesn't mean that you don't connect with your twin, talk to your twin, but don't get destroyed. Now, I've been through Dark Night of the Souls. My first one, I was 8 years old. It had nothing to do with my twin. It had to do with, I was a starseed on a planet that already made no fucking sense, with people that made absolutely no sense, that were living their lives, the James Bond people. I lived around that. What do I mean by that? They all look super cool, super beautifully dressed, cigarettes, scotch, gorgeous, gorgeous. The way they promoted themselves in the outward world was elegant, cocktail parties, things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? Evening dresses, things of that nature. Very cool. But very, there's got to be more to this life than this. Even at 8. Don't think children aren't smart. Remember, they were ancient souls in young bodies. That doesn't make them stupid. So even at 8, at 10, when Watergate happened, I knew that was going to be a massive blow to the American public's consciousness. At 10. I wasn't politically savvy, but common sense is common sense even on a 10-year-old. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to really look at your kids with more respect. I'm not kidding. They are your equal. You're here to protect them and mentor them, not control them and shut them down. Does that make sense? But they also need to learn how to behave so that they can actually move into society being respected and with self-control. They need to control their nervous system. And they need to know how to control their nervous system. Go out and play. Go take a shower. That's in a way mentoring and redirecting negative energy in a child. Because remember, the starseed is a body that It's like developing gills. It's like learning how to breathe in 3D. 3D is not a fucking joke. That's why many souls will never incarnate here. They don't want anything to do with it, because the fear is the amnesia. The idea of them fucking forgetting who they are is so repugnant to them, they won't do it. Does that make sense? So with that said, so let me go on to the next point. So New Age, twin flame, hijacked. I'm going to ask you a question. Is the New Age community really not believing in dark energies? Is that really true? Because I don't remember ever seeing that. Does anybody have an answer to that? Because she said that, but just because she said that doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. So are you guys really not believing in dark energies? Have you ever seen dark energies? Have you ever dealt with dark energies? Let me put it this way to you. If you drink alcohol or you get high and you're not protecting yourself, dark energies are walking in. If you've ever played with a Ouija board, I'm repeating myself from the last life, sorry about that, you will see mischievous energies, and yes, maybe dark energies. This shit exists, and it has a lot to do with some of the 1% doing all kinds of voodoo tata, okay, shit, okay, which they've created egregores as well, not just dark energies coming in through the reptilians, which, God bless his soul, David Icke has been talking about for fucking decades. Now, I'm going to talk about racism and spirituality. I am, because it's time. So, and I'm going to start with slow. So I did an Akashic reading for a client of mine, a masculine, and he had a knee-jerk reaction on past lives that he had as a woman, giving birth to a child, and her losing her life, giving birth to a child. That really, he couldn't wrap his head around the fact that he had been a woman. Let's start out with that. Gender issue, okay? I remember going to a talk. This was years ago at a bookstore called Alexandria 2 bookstore in Pasadena, California. Must have been 1991, 1992. And you could go down the stairs and it was a beautiful, like little grotto, if you will. And there were all these chairs and people would talk about their books. And so one day there was this person talking about how she had died and she had crashed her aircraft. She was a reptilian. And that's what she said. And she had crashed her aircraft and she was able to jump into a human body. Everyone nodded their head. But the minute she said that as she crashed and she went through a light corridor before she was able to jump into a human body to incarnate in her first incarnation in a human form. But as she talked about white angels, she talked about black angels. And I saw people shaking in the hair, like, no. Like there couldn't be black angels. Which I find interesting. When I do Akashic readings, sometimes I remember one day I had a client and one of her reincarnations, she was a Maasai warrior. Maasai, Africa. Beautiful life, married to 2 women. Just no problems, no issues, no jealousy, just a very simple, beautiful life. And I could feel her recoil at the idea of having been. So there is racism in spirituality, okay? Meaning spirituality in its purity has no racism. But the filtering system of the human mind in this world that we live in has a touch of racism. And this is something we need to really fucking pay attention to. If you're having a past life where you are not a humanoid on another planet, maybe you're a sloth, maybe you're a reptilian, maybe whatever, it's not a good time to start knee-jerking and moving away. You better lean in and go, why am I being triggered by this? And why am I rejecting this? Why couldn't I have been an avian? Why couldn't I have been a sloth? Why couldn't I have been these things? Why do I always have to be a humanoid being? Okay? Yes, we have a lot of humanoid types. We know that, right? But why can't I then admit that I might have been, another race? And believe it or not, when I look at, and this was one of the things that was knee-jerking me with Michael Newton's stuff, I didn't see a diversity of races being expressed in those incarnations. And that is a problem. Why is it a problem? Because this is not reality. I remember when Oprah Winfrey, this is the only time I mention her, she had a little white kid. He was a little red-headed kid. I'll never forget. I think he might have been 9 or 10. You may have seen that show, by the way, many of you, where he remembered a past life as a Civil War black, African American black soldier in the Confederacy. Okay? And they were all like, "Oh my God." Like it was something special. Instead of, yeah, okay, but instead of asking not the question of what he looked like, but the question of what happened. How did you pass away? Did you pass away? Did you go up north? What happened to the rest of your life? Do you remember more? They were more interested in that. The fact that he was redheaded, white kid that had been a black Confederate soldier. That's a problem. We got to do fucking better. We better do better. Because if you really want to be spiritual, and if you really want to excavate, and if you want to be a multidimensional light being, then you better accept all the forms you've taken. All of them. All of them. You've been bisexual, you've been gay, you've been straight, you've been all these races, all these cultures. You have done horrible things and you've done fantastic things. And the horrible things that come to you, you need to see them, sit with it, and transmute it, forgive it, and forget. Because that is not who you are today. In fact, to be that incarnation where you might have been Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan, giving you examples of butchers, right? That we can all relate to quickly, okay? That is not who you are today. You could never do that today, ever. Never. And you know that. So why can't you just go into your shadows and accept them and see, and also accept all of what you've been in multiple lives that you've experienced? What are the benefits of these incarnations? What did you learn from them? Did you get peace from them? And how was it ended? How did it end? And what was the next incarnation after that? That's what's important. And sometimes, yes, I do see in hypnotherapy sessions where there is a past life with a twin or a high level something, like it's obvious. Okay? it's obvious. But the point I think that the twin community must understand is that you have to go on in your mission. And if you don't, and if you allow the separation of you and your twin to absolutely decimate your power to bring incredible healing and wisdom to the collective, then you are doing the reptilians' work. There's no doubt about it. None. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on that? Any questions or comments? Human programming can be racist, limiting, judgmental. It's not our divine nature. Exactly, Lisa Smith. Thank you. Exactly. I've dealt with a fair amount of dark energy. It's real. Children are our teachers. Yes. Anything else? So does that make sense? So like when we look at Teal Swan, for example, right? She's gone through some dark energies and she's been programmed with MK Ultra techniques and she talks about it. In fact, I invite you to go all on Gaia and punch Teal Swan and watch the interview with Regina Meredith. Regina Meredith is not always uncomfortable with a guest, but you can see that she's trying to navigate this course because what this kid went through, Teal Swan, what this kid went through was fucking massively traumatic. Massively, and she explains what happened to her. And there is a wiring, there is a blueprint of in her, how do I put this? In her body, in her essence of the body she incorporates, right? Because it went through, there's all this somatic memory, okay? And I'm not sure she's completely eradicated some of the, actually I know she hasn't. Because of the kind of men I saw she partnered with. Feminine men, okay? Feminine men. And she talks about how she was programmed to be with somebody who had blue eyes and blonde hair. Green eyes, whatever, light eyes and blonde hair. And you can see it in action, for real. So it's interesting how these reptilian energies use human beings as conduits to these kinds of shenanigans, these chicaneries. One of the things you may want to look at, which only Surface talks about it, which my friend Andromeda Flame insisted I watch, and God bless her I watched it twice, like back to back. It's called Men Who Stare at Goats. Very interesting title. a real turnoff. That's why I never watched it. Though I like George Clooney, or I used to like George Clooney. But what I'm going to say to you is that movie is fucking important, massively important. Okay, because it talks about remote viewing. And remote viewing is a fucking no-no. Now, this Scottish chick is talking about how she remote viewed herself. Now, if she remote viewed herself, my question to her would be, did you remote view for clients? Because if you did, it's a no-no. It's a fucking no-no. That's why I've never... There's a couple things I won't do. I'm going to be very blunt with you. I'm going to share. One is remote view. The other is forcing a Kundalini awakening, forcing it. At 17, I knew about Kundalini awakening, and I heard how people did go into psychosis. I remember hearing of a guy, in fact, my twin told me about this guy. They were all doing psilocybin, and that guy took less than my twin, and it lost his mind. He went into he went in realms that he couldn't come back to. Why? Because when you take shit like that and you don't open the four corners above and below, when you think it's okay to just do, drop some asses or drop some whatever and not fucking sage yourself and open the four corners for protection, you're letting anything, as you're surrendering and opening all your chakras, your auric field, all of that, you're opening yourself up to entities. So my question to a person who remote views, before you remote view, you better fucking close. In other words, do the four corners above and below as if you were going to take ayahuasca. You better call on the energies to protect you while you fucking travel. I say that to people who want to get high or drunk. You want to drink? Fine, drink. Because I can't tell someone to stop drinking or getting high. I'm not going to try that one because it's a lost cause. People will get to that on their own when they are sick and tired of being high. But with that said, if they're going to do it, fucking do the four corners above and below. Fucking protect yourself. Just say, look, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. I just need to fucking get high. I need to get off this hamster wheel. I need to sleep. I need to just protect me. And I'm sorry. I wish I could do better, but today I can't. It's a fair request, which your entities, your guides won't fuck you up on. But if you don't do that, yeah, you're allowing reptilian forces to come in. There's no doubt. I mean, this is fucking no doubt. So if New Agers don't believe in that, then again, you can understand why I call what I believe in ancient wisdom and not New Age. I've literally put a separation to that. I will not call myself a New Ager. Not at all. In my supermarket, up on one of the signs, it says New Age drinks. I almost fucking lost my shit laughing. So New Age, let's remember, Blavatsky and Aleister Crowley. That's all I gotta say. And Aleister Crowley was known as a pedo. So there you go. That when I found out that's who had invented the term of the New Age, a New Age, a golden age of spiritual awakening. No. One of the reasons why Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, I don't really follow, I've never really been, was because he couldn't give. He honestly had a problem with African Americans. I'm being very honest with you guys about it. He, I'm going to say, whitewashed a lot of shit. And I don't know if it was because he was going through his own filtering system of the human experience, or he was purposely editing shit out. When I do hypnotherapy with my clients, I beg them, I ask them, I guide them, please don't edit anything out. Do not edit that you have 3 fingers. Do not edit that you have leopard spots on your skin. Do not edit one thing. Don't question, don't pause, don't ask. Don't say, well, don't try to reason it out. Don't try to second guess. Let it go. Tell me what's going on. Because what's happening, and you have to understand in hypnotherapy, when a person goes under, right? You can't make shit up like this. It's too fucking complex. When you are trying to come up with a story, a sci-fi story, if you're divinely inspired, it's going to pour out of you. But most likely, 9 times out of 10, if you have a class to come up with a sci-fi story and you have to turn in the paper next week, yeah, you're sitting there trying to figure out what to come up with. So when somebody in hypnotherapy is actually just downloading, and here we go again with a violation. again, this is why I'm going to be doing my podcast, because I'm sick and tired of these violations. I don't know who's fucking flagging me, but I'm sick of this shit. Any questions or comments? I'm going to call it a day. I'm done. I'm not going to be muzzled. And you have, whoever you are that just did that, you have not won. You are definitely controlled by reptilians. I can tell you that. So if you think you should be proud of yourself, goodbye and good luck. Anyway, let me see. What else? Let me read your comments here. And then I'm going to go. I've been stalked by remote viewers. Yeah, well, you know, divide and conquer. Hello, everyone. All right, let me see here. There's a comment you made. New Age is very surface level. Spiritually, they know just enough to be dangerous. I'm going to say just enough to be stupid. Okay, I'm just calling it out. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Just enough to be stupid. All right? So what violation I've committed, God knows. Why don't you guys tell me? Does anybody want to figure what I just said that would create a violation? I'm just curious. What have I said that is a violation? If you don't agree with what you hear, just scroll. No idea. They don't like it. If they can't, just leave. Yeah. It's just... Yeah. So, does that make sense what I'm saying? In the sense. But I am going to shut it down because I don't want to... Oh, no, I don't think so. No. It's because I've said it multiple times. And people talk about medicines all the time. No, it's about how to protect. It's how to protect yourself. See, anything that's talking about protecting yourself, an honest dialogue about how you can navigate your incarnation when you're suffering so that you can do what you need to do. And then come back on the track and go back into more power. Do you understand? I'm going to teach you how to fucking protect yourself so you're okay. And you do not need to hire anyone to fucking work on your chakras. You do not need that. You do not, no one can open your third eye. I'm going to continue. I saw a video of somebody on a table getting their third eye opened. And they went, oh my God, yes. Well, if you've ever had Reiki, it's pretty powerful. When somebody puts their hands and levitates their hands over you, downloading all kinds of light codes from the Reiki light codes, right? That come into play, right? Into you, you're going to feel massive power. But no one can open your chakras for you. I'm sorry. No one can open your third eye. They can help you clean it up. Maybe. And I'm going to say maybe. Because I've worked with, I'm actually also a Reiki master. And I've worked with Reiki masters who have worked on me. Felt good, but they did not clear my chakras. Just so you know. They did not clear it. I have to clear it. It's like, will you give me a shower? Well, yeah, but it's never as thorough as the shower I'll take myself. Okay? And let me put it that way. So you need to learn how to take care of yourself. When you go to a Reiki healer, it's for them to remove any blocks so that your chakras can spin, so your auric field is cleaned out, things of that nature. So your somatic trauma that's lodged in your hip or your arm, your shoulder, your neck is released, you know, energetically speaking, if that makes sense, right? So that's what they can do. And it's important to do it. Preach, sister. Please continue. Your chakra clearing posts, I listen to it frequently. It helps me significantly. Oh, good. Fantastic. All of them start with the chakras. Like the womb healing starts with the chakras as well. They all do. Purging past lovers and predators also have that. And by the way, if you ever do purging past lovers and predators, never use it once. Only once. You don't use it again and again and again. You don't do that. Womb healing, yes, you can do it every day. Ho'oponopono, you can do it every day. I need to do some other guided meditations, actually, I think. I fear the 40-something, they dip and dab in witchcraft and call it New Age very dangerous. I want to clear, but I feel like smoke bothers my sinuses. You feel like smoke bothers your sinuses? Well, let me just say that you may want to look at different types of smoke, like Palo Santo or Copal, meaning maybe it's the scent and the smoke, because cigarette smoke bothers my sinuses, and I'm not trying to belittle you, I'm trying to figure out, because there's different, the emanation of smoke, what is the source of that smoke? And then, so what is bothering you? Is it cigarette smoke? I know some people can't do California white sage because it irritates them. It irritates me a little bit, but I do it anyway. But I do a lot of Palo Santo with California white sage. I do copal. I have to find my little thing because I have copal from Mexico, which is amazing. It's wrapped in corn husk, and it's the real deal. And you can make liquid sage and Palo Santo. Thank you, Rachel. But the problem is I'm not. I hate to say it, but I'm not sold on liquid sage. I've had liquid sage. I'm not sold on its power at all. I'm being honest. There's something about smoke, removing smoke, if you know what I mean. Dark energy, smoke, removing smoke. There's something about that. And closing all the windows and then opening the windows and letting it all go out. There's something very powerful about that. And I'm just not convinced by the liquid. Believe me, I've tried it and I'm just not sold on it. Though if that's the very last resort, and that's all you can do. But to be honest with you, I would make an effort to see what types of clearing agents you can use, like like frankincense and myrrh. Like I said, does that make sense? So that's what I would do. Here we go again with the little puzzle. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think not sage, but maybe Palo Santo would be better. It doesn't smell as strong. I make it and use it, but also do symbols with it. I can't use smoke in my office, fire alarms. I gotcha. I understand. So Rachel feels like it works, so I would take her counsel. Personally, it doesn't work for me. But Palo Santo, look at copal. Copal's amazing. Copal is fantastic. The smell, it's so rich. It's so beautiful. It's not, how do I remember when I did ayahuasca, and that was what my shaman used was copal, and our blankets smell like copal. Oh my God. And it went on for months. Like I didn't want to wash my blanket. It was ridiculous. I finally had to, obviously, but it's very, it feels so good. I love Palo Santo and copal. Copal for meditation is beautiful. Yes, I agree. It's almost like ecclesiastic essence, incense. It's almost like ecclesiastic and incense. So when you're seeing them in Catholic Church with these incense burners, right? They're huge and they go back and forth. That's interesting, actually. I never thought of that. That triggered the shit on me just now. Because Andromeda, how I feel about Gregorian chants. I start wanting to throw up and I feel sick because of a past life I had regarding that. But anyway, all right. Anyway, any questions or comments? So, are you clear on the twin movement? Do you understand? I had a client, not a client, excuse me. I had somebody come up. I think they were trying to hustle me for free reading, which I don't do, obviously. But they were asking me if I believed in twin flames. Now, I don't know, but I got over, I don't know, like 600 videos, I'm pretty sure by now, on TikTok alone. And I would think that before you ask somebody like me that question, you would take the time to look at the videos. I don't know, they're 3 minutes each, so it's not like a massive investment of time. And you would probably realize that, yeah, I do believe in twins. And why? And how? I do a lot of videos, and I've done a lot of videos that were here to help you figure out what it is that you're experiencing, right? But quite often, I do get people on these lives saying, my twin, and this is happening. And I say to people, make fucking sure it's your twin to go through this kind of bullshit. Make sure it's a twin. I had a client 2 days ago. I did the Akashic reading. She's the same client I had yesterday for the hypnotherapy. And I was sad because I had to deliver to her news, that yes, this unfortunately is a twin. Unfortunately. So don't think everybody wants this, because they fucking don't, because it's hard. And so my whole counsel for her is to realize that she has to experience the experience, because if you don't experience the experience, you will regret it for the rest of your life. You will look back going, fuck, I wish I had done more research. Maybe I should have done X, Y, and Z. Maybe I should have. So, that is a truth. And regret is probably the worst thing a person can experience. You want to do as you want to minimize your regret in these incarnations. You want to minimize it for the most, as much as possible. You're going to have regret. Don't get me wrong. You're having a human experience. So that's part for the course. But one of the regrets should not be, I shouldn't, I'm glad I listened to all the people around me. Oh shit, 10 years later, why didn't I just find out what this was? And that is important for you, to live a fruitful, colorful life. And it might be that it is your twin. And there's fuckery and fuckery after fuckery. That doesn't mean you hold on to your twin. If your twin's hell-bent on losing, right? If your twin fell off a cliff, would you still hold on? And if the answer is yes, I need to really have you second guess yourself on that one. You have to understand that unless your twin brings you on a higher consciousness, even there might be some kind of toxic shit emanating out of you and your person, and it's healing you because it's being the shit's surfacing, and it's making you ask really, really uncomfortable questions that you've never had the courage before to ask, but now you're in such a place of dark night of the soul that now you're saying, what the fuck? Why am I being triggered like that? What is going on? Now that's fantastic because that's your liberation. But if your twin has you acting and being unable to thrive in your incarnation, unable to be in your mission, unable to walk the walk of light, which you were born to do. This is your birthright. Because of their innate darkness to lose, because their self-loathing is so overcompassing that it's going to drag you into their pit of hell. Then yeah, I would say to you, fucking run the opposite direction. But it's my twin. No, that's not good enough. Well, what will I do? I'll never love like that again. Yes, you will. Just like you love your sister or your brother differently. Love is love. The sexual union may be different, but it'll be just as magical, maybe even more so in aspects because there's less toxicity around that as well. Less control, less games, less bullshit. Does that make sense? So just because you meet your twin, and fucking make sure it's your twin. Don't bullshit yourself. Well, they're always in my mind. Yeah, sometimes just call it for what it is. Obsession. And there are obsessions with past life lovers. Loopings of past life lovers where things were betrayed, unrequited love, more betrayals, more sense of loss, more I can't be with you because I've been promised to this man because he has 100 acres and 40 mules, whatever. And that can become a looping of obsession. And you better recognize it. It's called discernment. And you got to go into your heart chakra and go, but I'm obsessed. Yes, and that obsessed, lustful, desireful, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to be desired by this person. Some of you are going through that, whoever you are. It might not be on this live, but on when I upload this. And it is a past life loop. I remember I went through that. And I went to my hypnotherapist. And I've mentioned in many lives, 4 past lives. Holy fuck. And within 2 to 3 days, I was sick. It made me sick. Because I wasn't able to process it correctly. And God bless her soul, she wasn't able to help me process it correctly. You better get yourself a hypnotherapist that can teach you this shit. Because or else they're gonna just cut you loose and then you're like, okay, now what? Oh fuck, now I'm sick. And when I say sick, and I'm gonna be very real with you as to what happened. I was sick, I had vertigo, I could not get out of bed. No one knew. My husband was like, I was in massive shape. I would power walk 2.5 miles a day, sprint, go to the gym, do 1 hour on Stairmaster, lift weights for another hour. I was in excellent shape. You get what I just said this, right? Okay. I could not get out of bed. And when I did, I'd fall. And then my legs became like elephant legs. And we finally went to the doctors. But my blood pressure was low, but that was it. And then an entity came. It revealed itself. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was what had been making me sick. And there was a battle. It lasted 48 hours. And I would not fucking sleep. I went on chanting mantras. And then it left. So I think I was, how old? Yeah, I was 45. And then another year came through with this person, this obsession. And then one day it hit me. I don't even want to be with this person. What's fucking wrong with me? I want to be with my at the time, I didn't call him a twin, my twin. This is who I want to be with. I've put a veneer of desire over this man, but it's really my twin. And it was a very simple hit. I looked down at this man's hands. He had freckled. He was Danish and Scottish. He was 6'4", and he was a beautiful man. And I looked at his hands, and suddenly I had a flashback of my twin's hands, and that's when it clicked. Boom. And I didn't expect to be in union with my twin. I simply wrote a love letter. It was like a Dear John, I love you. I will always love you. I'll see you on the flip side of the moon. I hope to God you are married, happy, children. That was it. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think. And then that was the beginning of our union. So, I wanted you to make sure, because I remember testing this story that I just shared with you with a group on a live. And I actually explained the connection. I explained what had happened. And every person on the live said, oh, that's your twin. And it wasn't. It was not. It was a past life, many past lives of fuckery, of betrayal. It was a lover. At best, maybe a low-level soulmate. Not even a high-level soulmate. Just a soulmate. Maybe. Maybe. But the point of it is that we have to do better. The discernment has to be better within ourselves. And then you might want to reach out for a spiritualist and get confirmation. A lot of clients come to me and they'll say, and I'll confirm what they already know. Well, I mean, I don't know what they want me to confirm, obviously, right? I have no clue. But they'll come to me and I will confirm what they'll go, oh my God, yes, I knew that, but I needed confirmation. Yeah, well, that's good. Of course you want to do that. You want to do that because sometimes you don't have discernment. You are so in the jungle of your own mind that you can't machete through truth. You can't find the truth through that jungle, right? The monkey mind. And that is a problem. Let me see here. I'm going to read some of your comments. Essential oils, Andromeda says, essential oils definitely have a place, but for clearance, smoke is more effective. My friend realized her twin is not coming for her, and she went into spiritual psychosis. That's a problem. And fuck. I'm sorry about that. That makes me sad. It's extremely hard, but having people like you definitely help. Oh, that's very kind of you. Well, that's my mission. That's where I'm at right now, but it hurts. I'm sorry. I definitely agree because I can't clear a room easily without smoke. Yeah, there's something about smoke and the beginnings, like the origination of where the smoke comes from is important, The thing about twins is they're not here. Some of you will be in union. Some of you, that is your contract. In other words, no matter what happens, no matter twists and turns, no matter what the fuck, cheating, being with other people, fucking around, drug addictions, they're going to come back to you. Some of you, but not all of you. Not all of you. Some of you have a contract with your twin not to be in union in this incarnation. That's number one. Number two, some of you are in twin flame connections where the twin is so hell-bent on 3D, on their existence in 3D, that they have forgotten so badly what the deal was that they will run from you for the rest of their incarnation. And should you drop your body first, they will be hit with massive regret and maybe psychosis, because suddenly it all makes sense. Like, I'll give you an example of my son, for example. My son was an atheist. Now, just so you know, he wasn't raised as an atheist. You realize that, right? I hope you do. And we had crystals, and he would meditate on the crystals. Like, he had a cacti crystal. In fact, I have some to sell, which I'm going to actually promote soon. But he had one that was, that he called, I said to name it, and it was Haku. Haku was a crystal that we had found in Alexandria too. And he had chosen it. I had shown him how to choose crystals when he was very small. And the way I choose crystals is I put it on my heart chakra and my third eye. My heart chakra and my third eye. That's how it. If I feel something, fantastic. If I feel nothing, I put it back. Anyway, so he had chosen this crystal, call it a haiku. And he would meditate on Haku, and Haku would become brighter and brighter and brighter. He was at 8 years old, he was like, he could draw the chakras by memory, okay, in colors, obviously. And so he was there. But at some point, as he admits it to himself, he became a red pillar at 14, 15. And he ended up being unhinged in my, and he wouldn't be embarrassed for me to say that. And then when his father passed away, when his father just died suddenly of a heart attack, the first thing that happened was he went to sleep, right? It was massively, massively hard on him because he held his father. He tried to save his father's life. And that night, his father came to him in a dream. It was a visitation. And there he was sitting on a chair. And his father was sitting on another chair. And his father, they were in space floating. And he turned on the light like a lamp, like a table light, like a small light, so that he could see his father's face. And they began their first of hundreds of conversations. That's what woke him up. So when a twin decides to be in 3D, my point to the story, and maybe you drop your body first at some point, guess what? Yeah, they'll fucking wake up. Because for one thing, you'll probably visit them, for one. For two, they'll go, fuck. And that will hopefully plummet them into their own awakening, into 4-5D consciousness, into asking the right questions, into having spiritual dialogues, reading books, journaling, meditating, and going back to their true essence. Yeah. It's not easy. But in terms of plummeting yourself into psychosis because your twin can't see who you are and your value, and doesn't want to do the steps that it would take to be in union with you, leaving a woman, leaving a man, with children, without children, leaving a country, leaving a religion. I'm not joking, even that. Because they rather hold on to their temporary cultural belief system. I have a video that is that you are the custodian of this lineage, but it doesn't belong to you. When people say, "Well, it's my culture," you're taking away my culture. You're what is the word? I forgot the word they fucking use. I mean, I just can't stand that word. What is that word? You're stealing my culture. Like for example, braids. Okay, that's a big one. Okay, braids. Well, if you look through history, everyone has done braids across the fucking planet, okay? It doesn't belong to anyone. Ho'oponopono doesn't belong to any one people. I'm sorry if I'm being politically incorrect, but I don't really care. A mantra, a Sanskrit mantra doesn't belong to one people. Because you have to understand, we were there. We were Hindus. We were Hawaiians. We've been these people. We are their ancestors. That's what they need to understand. That's what you need to understand. So when you say I'm 100% pure Irish, and somebody like me walks away going, I have a connection with Ireland. Well, there's no Irish blood in you. I've been Irish. I'm one of your ancestors. Who the fuck are you to tell me that's not my memory? That's the kind of confidence that's almost arrogant, but not toxic arrogance. Fucking just humbling arrogance, meaning who the fuck are you to tell me I can't understand this? I was there before you were ever here. And that's something you better get comfortable with. But also what it will do is make you more malleable in understanding and accepting some of the connections you have. Like, why am I thinking of Portugal? Well, probably because you were fucking there. Why do I believe that I have such a passion for the Pleiades? It's as stupid as saying to someone that you only are the only Pleiadian that's been Pleiadian. It's that stupid. It really is. It's a small-minded person. So only you can tell me about the experience of a Pleiadian because only you have been a Pleiadian. Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. Speak to me like I'm 12. Explain to me how that works. And so this is why racism and spirituality is a problem. It's a massive problem. My premise on racism, I'm going to tell you, is, and this is why I very rarely, when was the last time you heard me talk about race and spirituality in New Age? Probably never. Because my understanding of the human experience is that this is a waste of time to really harbinger resentment on race relations. Why? Because if everyone believed in reincarnation and they had, oh my God, I've got red hair, but I was a what? I was a soldier in the Civil War. I was a black soldier. See, when people start excavating their past lives, all of this shit will fall away. Like racism will collapse on its own. It will implode from within. Like we won't have to do a fucking thing. No more fucking discussions on that subject, because when you believe in reincarnation and you're not holding on to your religious beliefs that are fucking dogmatic, but you believe in that you are multidimensional light being, that you are that you're tapping back into your ancient wisdom, and you really are tapping into God. And yes, in between that there's some dark entities, and you have to discern those toxic downloads, those corrupted downloads. Just like having a virus in your computer, it's not the end of the world to have a virus in your computer, to have a corrupted download. It's simply that now you have to use something to clean it up, right? Okay, well, we understand that for a computer. Why can't we understand that as we excavate our own spiritual understanding of ourselves? Why can't we fucking understand? Yes, there's going to be corrupted downloads. Yes, there's going to be dark energies throwing fucking boulders at you. Yes, it's all true. But that doesn't mean you double back. Oh my God, let me run back to my cave where it's safe and dark, where I can be in ignorance. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we need to get to. And so this new age community, which I have put miles of distance between, again, claim it, ancient wisdoms. Let's fucking call it that. Let's collectively agree to that word or that name or something else. If you got something better, let me know. Okay, but let's co-create a new word that expresses who we are and what we're doing on this planet and what our mission is and what we're remembering. Because New Age isn't fucking cutting it. Am I correct? Do you guys agree? Who doesn't agree? All races, all nationalities. Thank you. Appropriating. Exactly. Thank you. That was the word, appropriating. Yeah, I hate that fucking word. Hate that fucking word. No one owns nothing. We better learn that. It's funny. There was a Native American. I forgot what his name was. Chief. I wish I remembered his name. But he said, there's a sickness with these people. He was talking about the Westerners conquering this land. They have a sickness of wanting to possess everything. That's including appropriation of culture. So in one incarnation, you're Catholic and you're Irish. In another incarnation, you're a Buddhist monk. Yeah, explain that one. Yeah, that's the point. You can't. That's the point. And that's the beauty of it. And that's where racism will implode. So our job as boots on the ground, shamanic spiritual warriors is for us to spread that light. So that people go and seek out Akashic readings, hypnotherapy sessions, and they blow their own fucking minds. Holy fuck. I was a Hindu woman and I was in a temple and I was a high priestess. Oh my God. Yeah. Does that make sense? That's what we need to do. Because so far, this whole talking about race and race relations, it's not working. And the concept of people intermarrying from different races, and it's been going on for, this is not a new fucking thing, okay? We didn't invent anything, okay? We have to understand history. And I'm going to say it, and there's been a lot of damage from the 19th century historians. I'm not kidding. It went from that, a lot of the whitewashing and the brutalization of certain peoples was the 19th century historians. I mean, imagine 1820, right? They're still an important slave. Slavery is still something. Meanwhile, the British are banning sugar because it comes from slaves. So there's a consciousness here, right? Obviously. And meanwhile, other places you can be free, but here you can't. We have to we can't keep talking about the same, because we're going in circles. But if somebody their mind is blown from having their own past life hypnotherapy session, and they're seeing themselves as a Chinese woman and they're a man, and then they're homophobic, but they see themselves as being a warrior, maybe a member of the band of Thebes, fighting Philip of Macedon, right? And they were gay. Their lover was a soldier, shoulder to shoulder, in battle, full on fucking battle, fighting for their lives. And they, oh my God, this is my lover. Holy fuck, I was gay? Yes, my love, you were. Imagine that. He was the love of your life and you were a warrior. Wow. Imagine that. All of these issues that we have would fucking collapse on its own. It'd be like something, it just, boom. I see an implosion of towers. Towers and towers. It's funny, I'm thinking Babylon. I'm thinking the absolute collapse. Because now we're fucking seeing ourselves as multi-dimensional beings, and we're seeing what that means. What does that mean? Well, it means, oh, we're in a planet. There's no infrastructure. Well, how do you guys manage each other? Well, when we have fights, we figure it out. It's funny. There's African tribes in South Africa, and the philosophy of Ubuntu comes from that part of the world. Ubuntu. It might be other parts of Africa, but I know that I heard it from this white South African. The fact that who is an amazing man. He's an amazing teacher. Who talked about Ubuntu. And Ubuntu means if this hurts you, we collectively care. We give a fuck that this hurts you. In the current infrastructure, it's all dog eat dog. Dog eat dog. It's about survival of the fittest. Okay. That's been really working very well for all of us. I can see how happy you are. And that's what we need to reframe and redirect. All right, my loves, let me read your comments. And we are all one soul energy. There is no separation once you transcend the 3D construct. I agree we should call it ancient wisdom. 100% agree. All right, my loves, I'm going to go ahead and post this on whatchamacallit. I'm going to post it on YouTube. And please follow me on YouTube. And this will be up for you. Please share it with other people who you think could benefit from that. Because really, I think the medicine we need to take is going into past life hypnotherapy, Akashic readings, and hopefully you guys who do Akashic readings, you out there, fucking don't edit the races, okay? Because some of you guys are whitewashing some shit. You're actually putting races to the races of your clients, and that's bullshit. You should not edit one fucking thing that comes out of your downloads or in the hypnotherapy session. Redirect them, okay? I remember I had a client, I'm going to leave you with this, who I did a hypnotherapy session, and I asked her how many fingers she had, and I could tell she was lying. And I've said this to you in other lives. I could see it actually. I mean, I'm psychic. I wasn't reading her mind. I just saw what she saw. I saw 3 fingers. When we came out of session, right, and we started talking to integrate what she had gone through, I said, tell me, how many fingers did you really see? And she said, because she had answered 5, by the way. She said 3, and I know. She goes, how do you know? Because I said, when you saw what you saw, I saw it too. And she had like leopard-like skin, like that look of a leopard, right? You know what that means. But she had 3 fingers, and she said 5, and I knew she was lying. So we need to stop doing that. Just see it for what it is. It's okay. You don't have to freak out. Okay, it's okay. I had a client yesterday who had to look in the mirror, and she was an avian. Yeah, I didn't say that to her, but by now she knows. But she was an avian, and she was on a planet that was like beautiful jungle, and there were 4 pyramids that were. I asked her, what would you say is is it a 3-story building height? Is it a 5? She said 5 stories. So very, very big, right? And there were reflectors on it, like glass, but it wasn't glass, but it looked like glass. It was reflectors, 4 pyramids. And I said, how does it feel being there? Feels amazing. Joy, freedom. The word freedom kept coming up in her hypnotherapy session. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And because she needed freedom so badly, she rebelled and it internalized it to herself, self-harming herself by being addicted to shit. Because she couldn't make sense of why her need for freedom was more important. I have something I have to say to you, but I can't because they'll fucking pull the plug. So I'm unfortunately unable to say it. But the need for freedom, if not expressed in a free way, the average human being will turn that energy onto themselves with self-loathing. That's the damage that is going on right now to all of us. Those of us who are asleep and those of us who are awake. So we, as ancient wisdom keepers, need to go out there and start spreading the word. Go and get a hypnotherapy session. And I don't care if it's Dolores Cannon or the Newton Institute. I was trained under Newton Institute. Go with Dolores Cannon if you want, with that kind of training. I don't give a fuck, but get it done. And make sure that your hypnotherapist is a galactic thinker, not a fucking earth thinker. Earth thinker means they're going to have rules with what you should be seeing. If you're a straight alpha male, they will try to protect you from seeing your past life as a gay female or gay male. Shit like that. Not helpful. Not good and not healthy. Does that make sense? Or they'll see you shaking your head. No, I see myself as a Chinese or Japanese person, and they're seeing you kind of rejecting that. No, keep going. So you're Japanese. Okay, what next? No, you got to force them into it, because that's probably the only time you got to force them. Usually you don't want to force them on anything, but on that you have to, because why are you rejecting it? Was it because the ending was traumatic? Was it because you're rejecting that you were another race? Well, what are you rejecting? Let's go further. Of course, you're not saying that during session, but your goal is to keep pushing them to this alignment of excavating whatever the truth is for their highest good. Does that make sense? So you got to make sure, kind of like how I interviewed my OBGYN. Do you like C-section? No, you're hired. It was like, that's it. You're hired. Because I don't want somebody who believes in only this. Right? So you got to make sure that the person you're hiring to help you excavate is a galactic thinker. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments? Your teaching is vigorous and heartfelt. I love the word vigorous. You're right. It's we are all okay. I read that. I'm sharing. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I'm sharing our wisdom. Oh, much love, much love, much love. All right, beautiful. All right, my loves. I'm gonna let you go. 32, my lucky number. Love it. Good morning, Crystalline. I will upload this on YouTube, and this is my art right here. My AI art, just so you know. And I'm going to start using some of my AI art every day so that you can kind of tell, oh, new episode, oh, new episode, oh, new episode. It'll be like a visual prompt. All right. All right, my loves. It's such a pleasure knowing you all. You know who you are. I love you, sisters. Thank you for being part of my tribe. I'm so happy to know you and to walk beside you on this incredible incarnation. So sending you much love on your journey, and we will meet again soon. Namaste. Be well.